I'm now here with the only exhibitor at this year's European Championship of American Quarter Horses from the United Kingdom, Fiona Powley.
Hello.
Hello. Fiona, we know it's been a struggle for all of you to get into the rest of Europe.
Yes.
Not only because of Brexit, but only because of COVID. So, how was it for you?
It was difficult. I mean, our first challenge was moving the horse. Obviously, we did actually move the horse in April earlier this year, so we were limited in the way that we could actually do that because the new regulations now mean that you're paying VAT on your own property, which is kind of counterproductive, certainly not just for the Western horses, but for equestrian activities.
You moved your horse to a trainer's barn here on the continent.
Yes, we did. Yes, we moved her to Italy.
And so normally you would have to pay customs and taxes bringing your horses now into the European Union.
We do now, we never had to.
Yeah.
Normally we had freedom of movement, you could just get in your horse box, lorry, trailer, take the ferry, drive to Europe and come compete at, shows like this. Now we can't. There's a hell of a lot more planning and financial outlay.
So you have, just like we from the European Union need for Switzerland, the carnet, and that's good for how long?
That lasts for a year. That's exactly what we've done with my horse. She's actually now on a carnet to move freely within Europe. It's her, customs passport, and that's exactly what we're doing. Yes, they've been used quite significantly, haven't they, for Switzerland in the past? I know that they've used. That's the only way to get them moved through Switzerland. But yeah, it's a bit of a process. It lasts for 12 months, and then you have to renew it.
So that is the Brexit aspect for the horse. Is there a Brexit problem for you personally to travel here as well? Do you need a visa now, or?
No, we don't need a visa, which is good news. We can still travel. I mean, I flew into Dusseldorf on the 2nd of August. And in actual fact, it was relatively painless, but we're now using, obviously, the other nationalities. We can't use the EU channel that we just used to scan and go through. There you go. But in actual fact, apart from some of the COVID restrictions, it was relatively painless.
That is the next thing, the COVID restrictions, because England lifted all the rules and all the other countries freaked out, and we don't like the English to come anymore. Was that a problem? Did you have to get tested? What kind of tests? How was it expensive?
Yeah, well, it's expense-wise, it's about, depending on where you go and who you get to do it on your test. I had to have a PCR test, although the German requirement is an antigen test. We decided the best thing to do was just to get the PCR test. We booked the flight not knowing whether I was going to be able to travel or not. But I had to get a PCR test actually down at a show in England, in the southern England, because I've just done these two back to back. Get the test down there, get back up, because your time constraints as well as to the hours and everything that you're allowed between when the test is performed, and you've got to have flights, so there's a lot more coordination. Certainly, plus all that paperwork's got to be produced at the airport.
So you had to jump through a lot of hoops to get here, and that's probably why you're unfortunately the only British competitor. And in the past, we've had a lot of British spectators here at the show, and successful British competitors. And what do you think is the prospect? COVID aside, I'm sure we're going to be rid of that for next year, but the other stuff is still going to be a problem. Do you think that it's going to be manageable for the British to come back next year?
I'd like to hope so. I think a lot will ride on the political side of it, and I'm no expert on politics, as most people know, but I think until we've got some sort of customs union agreement with the rest of Europe, we're going to be kind of struggling, and like I say, it's not just the Western horses, it's impacting the horse racing, it's impacting, massive equestrian sport issues, with getting these horses moved around. And people. So
you still were able to come here, you were still able to show. What did you show?
What did I show? Well, we showed in open and amateur halter mares. She's a 3-year-old mare. and we're really pleased because we were 5th overall in both, which, you know, she's quite short on stature, and I know sort of over here they like them a little bit taller, so, you know, that was, I was quite happy with those placings. They were bigger classes than 2019 when I was here, which was nice. And then obviously I showed her last night, I believe around midnight, I think it was. We took part in the 3-year-old lunge line, the open lunge line, which was a bit of a challenge for us, because I only had really from last Friday to last night to prepare for that, because, you know, I've not had my hands on her. So, you know, that's been a bit of a challenge. So I was, you know, really pleased with the way she performed.
3-year-old. What's
Yes.
the direction you're going to go into with her, riding wise?
Well, she's my next sort of all-around horse. Hopefully, you know, we want to get back into pleasure again. You know, the mare I've got over in the UK, she's coming up for retirement now, which is actually a Zipper Martini's mother. You know, so, you know, hoping to do some trail horsemanship and all-around competition. So it should be good. Mainly
on the continent or mainly in the UK?
At the moment, the jury's out on that. I mean, the last, you know, couple of years, I've sort of come out here, you know, and it's really great to come out and show at the European Championships. I really enjoy it. It gets me to push my boundaries even further and make me realise that, you know, there's more. But also, I do love showing on the circuit in the UK. You know, they're a great bunch of people, and you know that because you've been there. And, you know, it will be great, I think, going forward, and I want to hopefully stay, you know, both sides of the pond, you know, want to be able to move freely backwards and forwards.
Well, thank you for jumping through all these administrative hoops to make it here from the UK to the European Quarter Horse Championships, and well, since you're done showing, have lots of fun for the rest of the week.
I will do, thank you, and it's been my pleasure. Thank you.